The Qatari Prime Minister says the negotiations on the war in Gaza were at a critical moment. Speaking at the Doha Forum conference alongside the EU's Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas and foreign ministers from Turkey and Spain, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rahman Thani also said that without a full withdrawal by Israel, the Gaza truce is incomplete.
What we have just done is a pause. We cannot consider it yet a ceasefire. A ceasefire cannot be completed unless there is a full withdrawal of the Israeli forces, there is stability back in Gaza, people can go in and out, which is not the case today. Right now, us as Qatar, Turkey, Egypt, together with the United States, we are getting together in order to force the way forward for the next phase. And this next phase is just also temporary.
Well, let's go live to Jerusalem now and speak to our correspondent there, James Cook. So, James, what more did the Prime Minister have to say?
Well, I think what's most interesting about what we're hearing from Qatar there is this suggestion that things are now coming to a head in terms of moving on to the next phase of Donald Trump's peace plan, President Trump of the United States peace plan for Gaza. That first phase was a ceasefire which came in October, and the return of all the hostages, living and dead, who were taken from Israel in the Hamas-led attack on October the 7th, 2023. All but one body now remains to be returned. And there's a feeling here in Jerusalem that once that body is returned, assuming that the body is returned, that the discussions will really begin to heat up again and get onto this next phase of the peace plan. And that involves various very difficult aspects. So we're hearing about whether or not they will manage to reach agreement on a number of areas. One of them is this technocratic, non-political temporary government that is supposed to take charge of running the Gaza Strip. Secondly, this international board of peace, which is to be, it seems, comprised of various countries. The exact makeup of it not really clear at this stage, who will oversee that process, and some sort of international stabilization force to try to keep the peace inside Gaza. That is the plan. Many aspects of it are very much live, very much still up for discussion. And there is, as I say, a feeling that discussions are beginning to pick up again at the moment here on all of those issues.
And James, in the meantime, how is the ceasefire holding up in Gaza?
Well, many people in Gaza would say to you it's not holding up well, and they would point to Israeli action in Gaza since the ceasefire, which they say has led to more than 350 deaths. The Israelis would say that they have responded to threats against their soldiers who, when people have crossed what they call the yellow line, which divides the point in Gaza behind which Israeli forces agreed to withdraw under the terms of the ceasefire agreement. But nonetheless, the situation is desperate. I mean, we are talking not just about the stabilization of Gaza, but in the long term, the reconstruction and the rebuilding of Gaza, much of which is in ruins. And the immediate concern is for, according to the World Health Organization, 16,500 Palestinians who, in the 2 years of Israeli military action in Gaza, have sustained critical injuries that cannot be treated inside Gaza and who are in desperate need of evacuation for help abroad. Now, there's been discussion this week about whether the Rafah crossing, the main crossing at the southern end of Gaza with Egypt, can open. And Israel had said on Wednesday that it thought the crossing should open in one direction for people to leave. We had a statement in the past 24 hours or so from a number of nations, 8 Muslim majority nations, including Egypt and significantly Qatar, who've played a crucial role in negotiating the situation and the peace plan for Gaza. And they have said that it would not be acceptable for it to open simply in one direction. They'd be deeply concerned about what they say would be an attempt potentially to expel the Palestinian people from their land. Israel's position is it can open in both directions once the body of the last hostage, an Israeli police officer, is returned.
James, thank you. That's our correspondent, James Cook, in Jerusalem there.